Win namamuli 1 million na ABSA. Play your cards right, Muntu Andy, and you could win big. Simply tap or swipe any of your ABSA cards 5 times in a month, and you could be one of 10 lucky winners to take home a cheap 10-pin in monthly prizes or walk away with a grand prize of 250,000 kwacha. Chaliroku, and you cannot afford to not get lucky. Use your ABSA card to enter the draw. Terms and conditions apply. Your story matters.
For in-depth news coverage from across Zambia, local and national news, business, politics, and sports, this is the Sun FM News, brought to you by ABSA. Your story matters.
The news.
Hello and welcome to our news. To present the news, my name is Mwema Shanshima. A look at the headlines. Zambia's Minister of Transport and Logistics, Frank Tayali, has reaffirmed the country's commitment to advancing trade facilitation and connectivity for landlocked developing countries, LLDCs. Zambia's public debt to GDP ratio is projected to decline to 91.1% by December 2025, marking the first time in over 7 years that the figure will fall below the 100% threshold, according to the latest report from the International Monetary Fund, IMF. Transparency International Zambia, TIZ, has voiced serious concerns about irregularities in the ongoing procurement of biometric voter registration BVR equipment and software ahead of the 2026 general elections. And in sports, Chipolopolo head coach Avram Grant today boycotted the mandatory pre-match press conference ahead of Zambia's African Nations Championship CHAN opener against DR Congo. Join me with the details shortly.
The news. 88.5 Sun FM.
And now the news. Zambia's Minister of Transport and Logistics, Frank Tayali, has reaffirmed the country's commitment to advancing trade facilitation and connectivity for landlocked developing countries, LLDCs. Speaking at the 3rd United Nations Conference on LLDCs, currently underway in Awazwa, Turkmenistan from August 4th to 8th, 2025, Mr. Tayali emphasized the importance of developing both physical and digital infrastructure to support the movement of goods and services across the region. During a panel discussion titled Seizing the Transformative Potential of Trade Facilitation and Regional Integration for LLDCs, Mr. Tayali highlighted that trade facilitation and regional integration offer immense potential for LLDCs. Effectively harnessed, these efforts could lead to significant transformation, including job creation, income generation, and broader socio-economic growth. He noted that Zambia has prioritized regional cooperation through the development of key transport corridors, such as the Lobito and Nachala corridors. The country is also investing in one-stop border posts and implementing single-window systems to enhance border management efficiency. Using ICT solutions, inland dry ports are also being developed to support logistics and trade. Mr. Tayali stressed that LLDCs are determined to shift from being landlocked to becoming land-linked nationals. This transformation is being pursued through the implementation of enabling policies and strategic investments amid at improving connectivity and driving socio-economic development. Looking ahead, the minister called for strong partnerships over the next decade, emphasizing that collaboration between LLDCs, transit countries, and development partners will be essential for mutual benefit. He urged stakeholders to support the AWAZI Program of Action, which outlines key priorities in trade facilitation, and regional integration. He concluded by underscoring the need for an enabling policy environment at national, regional, and global levels. Mr. Tayali emphasized that the multilateral trading system and the international financial architecture must be responsive to the unique needs of the LLDCS to ensure inclusive and sustainable development.
We are committed to the development of requisite trade-related physical and digital infrastructure, as well as the development of transport corridors, in particular for easing trade bottlenecks and supporting trade facilitation. When it comes to trade infrastructure, allow me to give an example, that we must strive as LLDCs to, as much as possible, reduce on our transport costs, which ultimately add in excess of about 40% of the final product cost on the shelves for citizens. As a result, we in Zambia, working closely through partnerships with our neighbor Tanzania, are working to the revitalization and commercialization of the Tazara, which is a rail link from the Indian coast inland into the inland coast of Kapirimboshi. We realize that doing so will give Zambia a competitive edge by reducing our transport costs.
Zambia's public debt to GDP ratio is projected to decline to 9.1% by December 2025, marking the first time in over 7 years that the figure will fall below the 100% threshold, according to the latest report from the International Monetary Fund, IMF. The projection is detailed in the IMF's country report number 25/225, released on August 5, 2025. The report further anticipates a continued downward trend, with the debt ratio expected to reach 69.4% by 2027. Minister of Finance and National Planning, Dr. Stumbeko Msokotwane, welcomed the development, describing it as a reflection of Zambia's progress under its ongoing economic reform program. Dr. Msokotwane emphasized that a declining debt to GDP ratio signals growing macroeconomic stability and boosts investor confidence, key drivers of job creation, national development, and wealth generation. He also noted that lower public debt levels create fiscal space, allowing the government to channel resources towards critical sectors such as infrastructure, health, education, and social protection. He added that reduced borrowing needs to contribute to lower financing costs and enhance Zambia's international credit standing. According to the IMF, Zambia's improved debt outlook stems from a combination of sustained fiscal discipline, successful external debt restructuring, and a strengthened macroeconomic framework under the Extended Credit Facility ECF arrangement.
Budget. So for all these reasons and a few others, when we're just coming out of the debt crisis, when we are just also coming out of that devastating drought of last year, and we are still struggling a bit here and there, government felt it prudent that the IMF program must continue. So the IMF program indeed must continue. And finally, on the IMF program, of course, it has done us a lot of good. The financial support from the IMF has been good. I think when we came in,
Transparency International Zambia, TIZ, has voiced serious concerns about irregularities in the ongoing procurement of biometric voter registration BVR equipment and software ahead of the 2026 general elections. TIZ Executive Director Maurice Nyambe revealed that investigations have uncovered trouble developments involving two companies, Miro Systems, which has a controversial international track record, and Starlab, a relatively unknown firm, citing that both companies have advanced to the final stage of the tender process under circumstances, according to TIZ, stating that the organization has cast doubt on the integrity of the selection procedure. Mr. Nyambe noted that one bidder previously disqualified for failing to meet basic eligibility requirements, including the mandatory submission of audited financial statements, had its appeal unexpectedly upheld by the Zambia Public Procurement Authority, ZPPA. Meanwhile, more qualified and compliant contenders were removed from consideration. He further disclosed that whistleblowers have submitted evidence pointing to possible internal interference by officials within the Electoral Commission of Zambia, ECZ, allegedly favoring specific bidders. He warned that such manipulation threatens the transparency and fairness of the procurement process, emphasizing that these revelations could undermine public confidence in the legitimacy of the 2026 elections and erode trust in Zambia's democratic institutions. TIZ cautioned that unresolved irregularities may jeopardize the voter registration process, compromise the integrity of voter data, and cast doubt on the credibility of future electoral outcomes.
I demand the immediate reversal of this statutory instrument. This is white-collar corruption and must not be allowed to continue. My spirit tells me we are under state capture. The minister is not exercising his free will. He knows these policies are detrimental to our economy and harmful to our citizens. We must work together to reverse this siege as responsible citizens. As the Tonga proverb reminds us, ng'ombe intanzi inua menda mabotu, the first cow drinks clean water. Let those in leadership be the first to act with integrity, transparency, accountability, and compassion.
Democratic Union of Zambia President Akim Munjovu has criticized the UPND government for enacting statutory instrument number 47 of 2025, which permits mining companies to export copper concentrates without paying export taxes. Speaking during a press briefing, Mr. Njovu described the policy as a betrayal of the Zambian people and a sign of growing state capture. He said the tax waiver benefits foreign corporations at the expense of national development, adding that Zambia continues to lose wealth while citizens struggle under high debt and economic hardship. Mr. Njovu raised concern over the 3.5 billion in illicit financial outflows recorded in 2024, arguing that the country has enough internal resources to finance development but lacks the political will to safeguard them. He had since demanded an immediate reversal of the mining tax measure and urged for the renegotiation of mining contracts to ensure fair taxation, local reinvestment, and environmental protection. Meanwhile, Mr. Njovu called on the government to address worsening power outages, which he said are crippling businesses and daily life. He said Zambia needs a clear energy reform agenda that secures supply and promotes renewable sources.
Load shedding has with intensity crippled our productivity and frustrating daily life. This is not just an energy issue, it's a governance issue. Zambia needs a serious and transparent energy reform agenda that prioritizes renewable investment and secures supply for all. Continued exports at the expense of ordinary citizens must be stopped. The abnormal cannot continue to be seen as normal. Takana.
And Mr. Njovu warned that despite a slight drop in inflation, the cost of essential goods such as meal, transport and healthcare remains out of reach for most Zambians, showing that economic recovery has not reached the people. He condemned the ongoing shortage of essential drugs in health centers and proposed an emergency health supply program to restock clinics, especially in rural areas. Mr. Njovu questioned the lack of progress on corruption investigations involving 4 cabinet ministers, stating that continued silence by law enforcement agencies raises suspicion of a cover-up. He said the fight against corruption must include suspensions for ministers under investigation and long-term reforms to ensure investigative agencies operate independently.
We must admit the truth, and our people are suffering. A bag of minimum basic household goods, transport, just to mention a few, still remain unaffordable, and they are not luxuries. We urge the government to go beyond the numbers and listen to the lived experiences of the people. Economic indicators must reflect not just statistical progress, but real improvement in livelihood. Any economic gains must be felt in the pocket and in the belly. We urge the government to invest more time in addressing the cost of living than looking and fighting for the body. Primary health care and drug shortages. Our clinics are running out of essential medicines. Mothers walk long distances to be. A nation that cannot provide primary health care is a nation that is failing its most basic duty. We propose an emergency national health supply program to restore hospitals and decentralize across, especially in rural areas. The trend of keeping patients for months in queues waiting medical attention must be addressed urgently.
On the other hand, Mr. Njovu has expressed concern over alleged manipulation of the Electoral Code of Conduct, warning that the opposition will not allow democracy to be compromised or the electoral process titled in favor of the ruling party. He had since urged young people to rise above tribalism and political violence and to lead the movement for national renewal built on justice, accountability, and inclusive leadership.
We demand independent electoral oversight, respect for opposition voices, and the end of intimidation tactics across the country. Corruption, governance, and accountability failure. I challenge the UPND-led government to demonstrate its commitment to transparency and accountability by updating the public on the status of corruption investigations involving 4 cabinet ministers reportedly under probe by the Drug Enforcement Commission and the Anti-Corruption Commission since last year. Your continued silence raises suspicion of potential cover-up, possibly involving senior government officials. Corruption has continued to be perfected from one regime to the other, with the recent attempts to perpetuate corruption beyond the borders in South Africa. It is worrying.
Opposition Economic Freedom Fighters EFF President Kasonde Mwenda has accused the UPND government of betraying the nation through a secretive mineral revenue sharing arrangement with First Quantum Minerals FQM, which he claims gives Zambia less than $2 for every $100 worth of copper, gold, and silver extracted from Kansanshi mine. Mr. Mwenda described the recently concluded Kansanshi mine settlement as a disastrous giveaway, estimating that Zambia will lose over $3 billion in potential mineral revenue over the next 2 decades under the current royalty structure. According to Mr. Mwenda, Kansanshi mine holds an estimated $69.34 billion in copper, gold, and silver reserves. However, under the current agreement, Zambia's annual revenue through ZCCM-IH is just $62 million, or 3.1% of the total annual mineral value. He said if Zambia were applying the standard 10% royalty rate, he argued the country would be earning more than $200 million annually. Mr. Mwenda further criticized the government for accepting a one-time payment of $195 million from First Quantum, calling it a tiny fraction of the $8 billion in unpaid taxes previously pursued by the Zambia Revenue Authority. The EFF president questioned why the government accepted such terms and demanded an immediate reversal of the Kansanshi agreement. Mr. Mwenda has since called for public audits of all mineral exports, disclosure of all contracts, and accountability for multinational firms alleged to have engaged in transfer mispricing, emphasizing that Zambia's minerals must serve national development rather than foreign profits. Chilelabwambwe District Commissioner has assured residents in the district that Mulonga Water Supply and Sanitation Company will deliver a consistent and equitable supply of clean, safe drinking water within the next 2 to 3 months. The assurance follows Mr. Chivinga's tour of the ongoing multi-million euro water infrastructure project funded by the government to address long-standing water challenges in the district. Speaking after the inspection, Mr. Chivinga expressed satisfaction with the progress made, commending Mulonga Water for its diligence and commitment to resolving the district's water supply issues. The district commissioner also praised the company's efforts to improve water quality and expand access across Chilelabwambwe.
Most parts of our districts, I think that will be put behind us. There's commitment on the part of Mulonga that they will have to ensure that all these newly installed facilities are put to function at full capacity, probably in the next 2 or 3 months. And if we get to that level, we want to believe that the water blues that our people are facing will be a story to put behind us. But I'd want to request our people that they are a serious stakeholder to this infrastructure improvement that Mulonga has undertaken using the same monies. We need to take ownership as a community. We must stop vandalizing.
Meanwhile, Bright Mutonga, communications manager for Mulonga Water and Supply Sanitation Company, highlighted the durability and quality of the infrastructure being installed. He said Mulonga Water and Storage Company has deployed state-of-the-art systems that will serve the community for many years, adding that vandalism by unscrupulous individuals remains a serious challenge for the utility company. He called for greater public cooperation with technical teams working on the ground, emphasizing that community support is essential to completing the project on schedule. Once the new water network is fully operational, Mulonga Water will be able to supply clean water around the clock to the entire district.
Because you can't be repairing everything. What we are supposed to look at is where can we take water? Who needs water? Where can we? Now at the moment we are just doing repairs, so there's no improvement because if a pipe bursts, we repair it. There's no increase. So now we are looking at if all these things are important, it makes it easy. I think like we are saying, sometimes it's even the repairs. When you have reliable infrastructure, you can even plan for a repair. Maybe on Thursday, you can even tell people on Thursday, that's when we are going to have repairs. So please repair. But if you are going to have a pump which is breaking down regularly, you will find that you make a notice. The standard is supposed to be 48 hours. Before 48 hours, you have it breaks down. Then you repair. Then when the 48 hours comes, you can't.
Ndola's infrastructure journey is reaching an exciting milestone, with the Mufurila-Ndola Road now almost 99% complete. Residents in Mitengo area, who had long endured challenging travel conditions due to the road being nearly impassable, are expressing genuine joy and relief. This newly rehabilitated route is already making a noticeable difference in how people move through their neighborhoods and connect with the rest of the city. The sense of progress is also echoed by Chungu Kampe, chairman of the chapter for revival of Ndola City. He commended the ongoing works and encouraged the inclusion of key support services such as laybys, bus stoppages to make the road not only functional but also user-friendly for daily commuters and long-distance travelers. His remarks reflect a broader vision for Ndola's future, one where infrastructure upgrades are thoughtfully integrated into the city's evolving needs. This development is more than just a construction milestone. It is a symbol of renewal and hope for residents, reshaping how they experience their surroundings and envision what's ahead for their city.
The new road has brought hope for the residents of Ndola, especially those residing in Mitengo area. This is the Mufulira-Ndola road, which is at 95% completion. Some traders along this road have expressed hope that their businesses will improve.
So if you know about ko musevoli nomba to ala shuka ko ukwate kone shuka nomba to ishisha ko bwino abana bale kwata ko kulya bwino no kusambira fira fine tudi abansa sana emkwai
twatotera pa kutupangira uyu musevo kulemoneka bwino yali ona ekese sana lero business yali beya iminina lero mbogo afurisho tibatwafwa.
They also said local authorities should look into introducing buses and taxis for local transportation.
Takwa ba bus station, takwa ba market, kuno market kwa yabo kutali kuchifubu, wapya town na masala kwa market na hospital takwa ba.
Shuko kwa tafi number station. Nomba utimule nina fine bantu kutakwabo chifumaka kusakanya.
While chapter for the revival of Ndola City Chairman Chungu Kapema commended the works and questioned if the new road has provisions like lay-bys, among others.
Ndola City, we are extremely delighted that this road, Ndola Mufulira Road, commonly known as the M4, has reached completion point. What we would like to urge the transport sector, particularly the Buses and Taxis Association, is to now come up with a route so that we can service the residents of these areas. Miseshi, there is of course Mitengo and Dollar Hill, because this road has not been serviced by a good bus service. So the residents of these areas, they deserve that we give them a decent service.
Some weeks ago, during the DC tour of the new road engineer told DC Precious Njekwa that lay-bys, bus stations, among others, will be provided.
Sometimes the contractor will concentrate on the carriageway. Then these small asphalt areas like lay-bys, installation of access culverts, they come and do them later on, but I'm pretty sure such facilities are supposed to be there.
Reporting for Sun FM TV News, I'm Gertrude Mwansa in Ndola.
Former president of the Rotary Club and active member Tom Kamwendo has called on fellow Rotarians to increase their efforts in supporting unprivileged communities through impactful development projects. Speaking at the installation ceremony of the two newly appointed presidents of the Rotary Clubs of Ndola, Mukuba and Kafubu, Mr. Kamwendo emphasized that uplifting livelihoods should remain at the heart of Rotary's mission. He stated that Ndola has many pressing needs that require attention even before the launch of the government's Capita project, echoing that Rotary members must continue contributing towards initiatives aimed at transforming lives. Mr. Kamwendo stressed that leveraging government opportunities for community projects could significantly contribute to the growth of the foundation and advance its outreach goals. He also encouraged Rotary members to proactively identify issues that can be addressed through club-driven interventions. The installation event served as a rallying moment for increased collaboration and social impact within the Copperbelt province as Rotary continues to long-standing commitment to community service.
The installation of the two presidents of the Rotary Club of Ndola Mukuba and the Rotary Club of Ndola Central was held successfully, showing a routine democracy in their respective clubs. Tom Kamwendo, a former leader, says there is need to help the underprivileged with intent to develop the community through different government opportunities.
For all the effort that was put in, I had the privilege to be here a few months ago visiting, and I saw the work that we're doing. As you know, the work of Rotary never ends. because the needs of the people do not end. So we recognize that the core business of Rotary is service, hence service above self.
Immediate past President Bwadia Singoi and the fellow IPP had words to share with the current administration and the members.
Disability project. We are yet to bring in wheelchairs, walking sticks and other handicap aids in partnership with PhysioNet, a UK-based charitable organization, in association with the Minded Rotary Club in the United Kingdom.
The club also continued providing support and leadership to our Rotary Club of Zambia University of Technology, and plans are still underway to activate the Rotary Club of the Secondary School.
The two newly elected made promises to the members in accordance to why the Rotary stands firm with the continuation of helping the less privileged in society.
Our health fair will offer free screenings, health education, and resources to promote wellness and disease prevention. Under environmental cleanup, we organize community cleanup events promoting environmental stewardship and beautification.
We shall come up with fundraising ventures to enable the club to move forward. We will not only depend on the funding that comes from Rotary International. Guest of honor, sir, membership has been a challenge, but we will not relent until we grow our membership.
After a successful event, Nkonde Chola also contributed some sentiments with regards to the Rotary work in helping the community to develop.
The Rotary community lost our past district governor, who was a member of the Rotary Club of Ndola Mukua. I'm sure most of you might have known him, and Nimrod Kapwele. He served as district governor for District 910, which will be explained later on.
Reporting for Sun FM Radio and TV, I'm Cletus Mutoki in Ndola.
You are watching and listening to Sun FM TV. We take a break, and when we return, we have more in sports news.
Sometimes life happens, and we all need that extra something to sort things out. Stay ahead, even before payday, with the ABSA Salary Advance. Get a convenient and quick short-term loan payable in 3 months at an affordable rate. Get the support you need when you need it, and keep your story going. Call 5950 for more details. Terms and conditions apply. Your story matters. ABSA.
Welcome back. Thank you for staying tuned. And now in sports news. Chipolopolo head coach Avram Grant today boycotted the mandatory pre-match press conference ahead of Zambia's African Nations Championship CHAN opener against DR Congo. Sources reveal that Grant was unhappy with the decision to schedule Zambia's final training session at 17 hours Central African Time rather than 15 hours Central African Time, which aligns with tomorrow's official kickoff time. While some reports in Kenya have linked the boycott to alleged unpaid salary arrears, sources within the Football Association of Zambia FAZ maintain that Grant's frustration is solely related to the training schedule. It is understood that Grant will meet the FAZ officials to resolve the issue, as Football House risks a fine from CAF for failing to fulfill the media obligations. Zambia will face DR Congo in their opening match of the tournament tomorrow in a 5-team group. Congo lost their first match 1-0 to co-host Kenya and will be aiming to bounce back. The Chipolopolo boys have never failed to progress past the group stage at CHAN, with their best finish being third place in the inaugural 2009 edition. And on that note, we end our news. But before we go, we take a look at the stories making headlines once again. Zambia's Minister of Transport and Logistics, Frank Tayali, has reaffirmed the country's commitment to advancing trade facilitation and connectivity for landlocked developing countries, LLDCs. Zambia's public debt to GDP ratio is projected to decline to 91.1% by December 2025, marking the first time in over 7 years that the figure will fall below the 100% threshold, according to the latest report from the International Monetary Fund, IMF. Transparency International Zambia TIZ has voiced serious concerns about irregularities in the ongoing procurement of biometric voter registration BVR equipment and software ahead of the 2026 general elections. And finally, in sports, Polo head coach Avram Grant today boycotted the mandatory pre-match press conference ahead of Zambia's African Nations Championship CHAN opener against DR Congo. On behalf of the entire news crew and production team, my name is Mwema Shanshma. Be sure to join us for our next bulletin, 21 hours. Good night.
Sun FM.
Win namamuli 1 million na ABSA. Play your cards right, Muntu Andy, and you could win big. Simply tap or swipe any of your ABSA cards 5 times in a month, and you could be one of 10 lucky winners to take home a cheap 10-pin in monthly prizes or walk away with a grand prize of 250,000 kwacha. Chaliroku, and you cannot afford to not get lucky. Use your ABSA card to enter the draw. Terms and conditions apply. Your story matters. ABSA.
Comprehensive coverage of local and national news, business, politics, and sports. The Sun FM News was brought to you by